Hello, all you beautiful humans. Welcome to my live. I want to talk about unrefined oils today since that is the entire basis of my line and why I choose to work with them. So thank you all for joining. These do get uploaded to YouTube within a couple days after they are here, so you can also go and rewatch them then. Hello, Ellen. Ellen's one of my best friends. Okay, so first off, I have the list of questions that people also ask, and one of the very first things I want to talk about before I get into my whole unrefined oil spiel is all of a sudden we're starting to hear about how seed oils are bad for us, they're toxic, we shouldn't use them, yada, 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 okay? So first off, all the information around consuming seed oils has to do with like taking them internally, not using them topically. The biggest thing that I have found is that the issues when they go rancid, the issues when they go bad, when they have turned, and like anything, when something goes rancid or rotten or turned, you're not supposed to use it. You're not supposed to put it on your body. You're not supposed to put it in your body. We're not supposed to use rancid things. When it comes to like the issue with them going rancid is what happens is, this is why my products are all in dark bottles, because when they're in clear bottles like this, the worst possible thing you can expose them to is light. Light and heat are what make the oils turn bad. And it's actually quite easy to tell if an oil is bad. It smells like it. It has that's almond. That's not bad at all. It has a very distinct smell, and this will serve you well to figure out what rancid products smell like, because all skincare and beauty products and all that take on this exact same scent when it's gone rancid. And this is the smell of like lipids and oils that have gone bad. It takes on this very unpleasant scent that really like catches your nose and like is harsh at the back end of the scent. So if you go to smell it, and up front it smells kind of off, but then when you're done inhaling it, it's that back smell that makes it not smell good. You can check the oils in your pantries. You can check your skincare products. I can't tell you how many times I went to Sephora and I've taken testers up to their front being like, "Ew, this one's rancid. You might want to throw it away." No one ever knows what I'm talking about. Okay, they absolutely go bad. One of the other things that I've learned with working in the oils is sometimes if you don't keep the cap clean up here, these will go rancid up here, but what's down in here is perfectly fine. So this is why I recommend to people when they're using the oils is every now and then you do want to take your finger and just run it along the threads. You can see I keep mine more clean, but like lots of times you'll get like a whole drop or two of oils. You would actually be quite floored how much oil can get trapped in these threads. Keep that clean. If you go to smell the oil and it smells kind of funky, it smells off, and you can see there's buildup, the first thing I want you to do is completely clean this around. You might have to take some rubbing alcohol. Once oils go bad, they get really sticky and tacky, and the worse they get, I have beakers that I can't even get clean, like beakers that I made a product and then I didn't like that one or I mixed it wrong. And then I would just bring the beaker up to my bedroom, and instead of putting it in a container, I usually would just pour out of this beaker for a month or two till it was gone. Yes, I'm aware I didn't keep it covered. It's my oils. I'm not selling them to anybody else. And like, you got to build the immune system somehow. I'm a farm girl. What can I say? I'm a farm girl. So I would go use it, and because of that, the oil sitting really thin on the sides of the container. Now when I've ran them through the dishwasher, I've ran them through, like I can't get them clean. So either I just keep them for like personal stuff or I toss them because I can't get them clean anymore. I'm sure I could use like acetone or something on it, like a really aggressive solvent to get it off. I just haven't tried that yet. Alcohol on its own doesn't work. So what I recommend you do is you clean this and then take the dropper and pull some out, or pour some out on your hand and rub it together and smell it. If the oil on the inside smells off, you need to throw it away. It's rancid. It's not going to serve you. We don't use products that have turned or gone bad or are expired on our bodies, nor do we put them in our bodies. One of the things that you'll notice is the one of all my oils that will turn the quickest on you and is lighter. And the reason why is lighter is a very delicate oil. And I don't put anything in my products to preserve them. I could choose to use synthetic vitamin E oil, toxoferol. Toxoferol is a really common ingredient that almost all skincare companies use if they're using lipids in their formulation, because the synthetic form of vitamin E is naturally a preservative. It automatically adds shelf life to your product without having to add any like chemical preservatives, okay? But then the problem with that is that I'm putting a synthetic ingredient in my products, and I really want them to be as natural as possible. So just know with lighter, you need to keep it out of heat, and you need to keep it away from light. Like, it's already in a dark bottle, so that helps, but don't keep it on your beauty counter that's right next to your window where the sun beats in. She'll turn on you in like 6 months if you don't get her used up and you don't store her properly. If you store her properly, she'll last you a good year. I recommend that people put any of their back stock in the fridge. I did have one woman contact me and say that her oils, once they were in the fridge, took on the smell of the fridge, but I've only heard that from one person so far, and I haven't gotten that feedback from anybody else, and I haven't gotten the feedback, so I'm thinking maybe it's just certain people's fridges, but I do keep the backup in the fridge. The first thing you'll notice with lighter, like I've kept it in my car in the summer to experience with it, and the first thing you'll notice before it turns, it just loses all of its scent, and it becomes like odorless, scentless. You still can use it at this point. The reason it doesn't smell anymore is the things that create scents in all the carrier oils, okay? All these unrefined carrier oils, the things that cause the scent are the antioxidants. It's the antioxidants in them. That's what makes it a virgin oil. It's why, I don't know why I'm doing this because it's actually a thing. It's why virgin coconut oil smells like coconuts and then non-virgin coconut oil doesn't. The non-virgin form of that oil was heated up past a certain point, so it destroyed the antioxidants in it. That's why it no longer smells like coconut and why it has a longer shelf life, because the things in the oils that cause them to go bad are the amazing unrefined parts that we want to keep in the oil that we're going to talk about today. So just know that about my oils. Samson does have a longer shelf life because I put meadow foam seed oil in it, and meadow foam on its own also, it has the most abundant of MCT, like medium chain triglycerides in it. So it extends the shelf life of any other oils you put it with. So the Samson's going to last longer. Heavier automatically lasts longer because the blue tansy essential oil functions as a preservative in the product due to the antimicrobial, which is antiviral, antibacterial properties of essential oils. And then eye care oil, she seems to be a little bit more stable, but she definitely is more stable than lighter. I really think the reason why lighter tends to turn the quickest is because it is delicate. I mean, it's made out of watermelon, strawberries, cucumber, blueberry. Like, it's just very delicate. It's a summertime, it's sunshine. Those things are only in season for a very short period of time. Okay. So let's talk about unrefined oils and why I chose to make them. And honestly, this is the entire reason why I have a skincare line. So when face oils started hitting the market, I was really frustrated because I looked at the ingredients and saw what was inside the oils versus what they were charging for the product. And I really was appalled. Like, when it comes to other skincare products, because I'm not a chemist, it's better now since I've started making my own skincare and started self-educating, but I didn't know how much those actives cost, right? You just are like, okay, it's a $150 product. It must cost like $20, $30 to make this product. Not the case. The refined oil, the reason why the cosmetics industry works with refined oils is for the exact reason that we were talking about earlier. The unrefined oils turn faster, go rancid. They are not as shelf stable. It's one of the reasons why when I buy my oils for making the product, because I'm not a big empire yet, we're working on it, but because I'm not a huge brand yet, I can't sell through these large volumes. And so I don't buy a lot of my oils in bulk like that because I don't want it sitting on my shelf for 6 months before I turn it into an oil. I want the products being as fresh as possible. I'm not making a product and then it's sitting in the warehouse for a year and then it's getting shipped out to you. I order in the oils as I need them. I make the batches and they go out. In the long run, does this cost more money? Yeah, absolutely. But I would way rather have a healthy oil on the shelf for you to use versus like buying in bulk and then in the end still losing money because of the customer service crisis that it might create if oils are not being used up quickly. It's also why I don't encourage really people to backstock on the oils. I think backstocking on some like heavier, again, if you keep them in the fridge, you're fine. But lighter might be that one that you don't really want to backstock on too much. If you can't get through a bottle in a whole year, you either need to start using more of it or maybe switch to another oil. But yeah, so the unrefined ingredients, the ingredients that are in the oils is what all the nutrition is. It's why I say my oils are medical grade, because you are getting medicinal doses of these carotenoids, these polysaccharides, the polyphenols. I don't know why I said saccharide. Polyphenols, like this is what unrefined oils look like, okay? This one's Tamanu. Look how dark green that is. Oh, that might be acai. I numbered them thinking I would keep the cheat sheet, and of course I didn't. Okay, this is acai oil, which isn't that crazy. Acai is like, I think I'm saying that right. It's super, super dark purple. It's almost black, and this is what the color of the oil that comes out of the seeds is, okay? This is strawberry. I one time got strawberry that was a super, super light pink, but I never got that one again. And this one is starting to lose some of its scent. So in this case, so I made these individual oils for a training that I did last year in Spokane. And these have been sitting out on my counter. They're not by a window, but they're in a room with multiple windows. The vials are see-through, and they're in here all by themselves. The oils are not going rancid, but I'm noticing that some of them, this one's fine. On the very, very top here, I'm starting to get a very, very slight whiff of them possibly going rancid. So this is why you really need to, when you get the oils, you need to use them up. You don't want to be sitting on them. If you're noticing that you can't get through 30 ml, start buying the 15 ml. You're not saving money on the larger size if you're not able to use the product up before it's shelf time. Okay, let me get back on track and focus. So the unrefined oils are basically like putting fresh squeezed juice on your face every day. It's like going and getting your organic vegetables and juicing and consuming it quite immediately. When it comes to juicing, you do want to drink the juice within a few hours. Within 2 hours, it starts to oxidize and break down. Or is it? It's 15 minutes. Okay. Juices start oxidizing and losing their nutritional value within 15 minutes of being juiced because all the nutrients have been broken out of the cells, right? Lipids are kind of the same way, but much longer because lipids in themselves are a preservative. They keep things more intact, more stable, right? So with the unrefined oils, because they don't run them through a filter, everything is in there. All the vitamins, all the antioxidants, all the nutrient, like everything, all the color. Like anytime you see these colors, this is beta carotene. This is like nature's form of vitamin A. Like this is essential for your skin. That's what the unrefined oils are doing, is they're feeding your body all of that. Whereas what refined oils do is there's different ways that they refine oils. Sometimes they'll just put it through a charcoal filter and just remove the scent. All right. And then you also have some companies that go to the extreme and they literally will turn this Tamanu oil into a super light green. They'll turn this strawberry clear. They'll turn all these are like pumpkin, carrot. What are some of my orange oils? They will also be made clear. Once you put them through the filters, it will remove all the nutrients. And then what you really get is just like the lipid amount. So the issue I was having with the skin oil companies is that a lot of the products that were coming out were basically just MCT oil. When you see the caprylic something, I always just see I think it's triglyceride or something like that. But that is basically the fancy name for MCT oil, the medium chain triglyceride oil from palm and coconut. Okay. The reason you can always tell when it's MCT is because you know how coconut oil is like solid at room temperature. The reason why it's solid for most people at room temperature is because those are the nutrients. Those are the same things in here that's giving this color, okay? When you filter all that out, when you just pull out the MCT oil, what you're left is a completely liquid oil that is going to have a really long shelf life. It has no scent to it. It's very stable. So this is basically what a lot of the face oils were mainly this MCT oil with some other stuff sprinkled in. The other thing was that a lot of the companies, and it was not just one, it's multiple companies, they were putting them in clear jars, which immediately was like, wait a minute. oils are like wine. They need to, and essential oils, like when have you ever bought red wine or essential oils in a clear container? You don't. The light is one of the most damaging things about it. You have to protect it. So this is kind of what set me on this mission, because I felt like it was such an injustice. Like finally we're coming back to oils. For the longest time, I have not been a believer of oil-free skincare. When I had acne for 15 years, I was an acne kid in the 90s. And so everything was about oil-free, 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 oil-free. And I went oil-free, and it completely would trash my skin and make my acne worse. So oils are really good for your skin. You just need to get the right ones. And when you're buying face oils that are all refined, that don't have any of the constituents in them, all these nutrient ingredients, you're just getting a lipid layer that sits on the skin. It's not feeding or healing the skin in any way. Like unrefined pomegranate seed oil is going to be way more healing and rejuvenating and anti-aging than refined pomegranate seed oil. And getting back to the reason why the skincare industry only wants to work with refined oils is because they can control them. They know what it's going to smell like every time it comes in. They know what it's going to look like every time it comes in. And they're going to know how thin or thick it is. Because once you refine them or unrefined versions, they can vary. Like the oils are not always the same. Like there's something about them that's very similar, but the oils can be different. So because the beauty industry always wants to standardize everything and make everything like perfectly the same, that's why they choose to work with the refined oils. The bummer also is that they make all the claims on the product based on research done on the unrefined versions. So they go and find the research about the pure unrefined oil and all the things that it helps with, all the antioxidants, all the anti-aging, all the like all of it, right? But then they're using the refined version. So even what they're claiming the oil is going to do is not going to do that for you. So that's why I launched my brand the way that I did. I only will work with unrefined oils. I will not touch refined ones. Surprisingly, unrefined oils are twice the amount of money as getting the raw material. My product line would be so much cheaper to make if I went with the refined versions. But I'm not like, hello. To me, like this is where all the goodness is. One of the other things you will realize yourself, if you haven't heard about it already, if when you start using the oils, you'll experience it, is you start getting what people have, it wasn't just me, like people started coining this and I fell in love with it. It's like the Prakash glow. There's something about using the unrefined oils that really just brighten and elevate the complexion. I think it's for multiple reasons. I think it's because the nutrient dense ingredients in it, of course, like anytime your body's getting its nutritional necessities and then some, things always thrive. The other thing is the vibration and energy around the oil. There are little seed crystals in every single pipette. I purposely, but I put these in there because I wanted to raise the energy and vibration of the oils. I wanted them coming to you in an elevated state, and the crystal was one way to hold that energy. I, of course, was originally going to put it in the bottle, but I'm like, no one will ever see it. So then I think is a brilliant idea, is to put them in the pipette. It has been an expensive process because these little crystals themselves are about 20 cents a piece. Just for the crystal, it's 20 cents. And then putting them into the pipettes, but it's been so worth it. I'll never change it. And then I also keep them with healing vibrational energies, those sophrons, however you say it. Those frequencies that you can get, I always put ones of love and healing and elevating, pure, the 999. Like I play with the different frequencies. So they're constantly being bathed in that energy. And then I have some Vedic devices. I have the heart-centered one and the green medic one around the oils also to help raise their vibration and elevate everything. So I do think it's a combination of what I put my oils through. But that's pretty much why you want to use unrefined oils on your face. So I'm going to get into the questions. One of the other things I was going to say is they absolutely can and will replace your moisturizer. So the whole story behind me even trying face oils is, I think I was like 34. I started using Josie Maran's argan oil. I would either put a couple drops of it into my moisturizer, or if I had like a tinted foundation, because, I got to use the natural shit. It's really hard sometimes to find tinted foundations and things like that are tinted SPFs. that glide on well. Even for the body SPF with zinc, like I always put cream or oil on first before I put the SPF on so it will glide nicer. So I started using it in that way, and I was probably using it for like 6 months to a year. I am going to get to the questions at the end, I promise. I noticed one day I went to go show somebody what a sebaceous hyperplasia was. And a sebaceous hyperplasia is when the sebaceous gland on your skin basically like overgrows, okay? And it starts coming out of the pore, and you can always tell because they look like a small little skin-colored skin growth. They're not a mole, they're a skin growth that is the same color as your skin. They're slightly elevated, and you can always see a hole in the center where that sebaceous gland came out. They're super easy to not diagnose, but figure out what they are on your own. So I had one right here, and I went to go show a client one, and I noticed like I couldn't find it. Didn't know where it went. And the only thing I realized I had changed was that had been using that Josie Maran argan oil. So that got me really into the oils. Hers are refined. I'm pretty sure hers they're refined. But still, these oils, I was surprised, okay? So that's how I started out. And then I tried some other brands I didn't like. I tried that Ferocity one with the gold flakes. Like I tried a couple. I just really liked Josie's the best, and I liked her light even more. The argan oil light was amazing for me. Mwah. And she does something to the molecular structure of the oils to make it lighter. It's not like it's still just pure oil. So then I started working with the unrefined oils. And I was still like putting them on underneath moisturizers or adding them into things. And then I started listening to Melissa Berg, the beauty nurse, talk about how she didn't believe in moisturizers, that she followed Dr. Abaji Zio's opinion, not Zio. His last name's Abaji. His first name starts with a Z. Anywho, so then I started trying it. And then I realized if you bought oils not based on what you liked that they smelled like or felt like, but based on what hydration level you needed. Oh, I haven't used a moisturizer in 3.5 years. I feel like my skin has gotten better. The lack of binders and fillers on my face, like it's already getting binders and fillers and stuff. With tinted, I'm halfway through. Like this is how you get, yeah. Okay. Moving on, ADHD. You always get already stuff on your skin from your makeups and your tinted moisturizers and your SPFs. So one less layer of binders and fillers, I just feel is better for your skin. I mean, 90% of all moisturizers are made out of the exact same stuff. It's glycerin, water, and oil held together with stuff. So if you're very oily, if you're more combination to oily, if you're more like acneic oily, you want to try lighter oil. If you are middle of the road, you're not oily, you're not dry, but you are a little oily, but you are a little dry, like heavier has a very, very wide range. If I only picked one oil for any human ever to try, it would be heavier. The blue tansy in it and the other oils are also phenomenal for acne. So I found for people who have that inflammatory acne, particularly if they're normal to dry, heavier is a godsend for you. Also helps people with rosacea, anti-aging. Like heavier is kind of the most blanket oil. And then if you're needing more hydration, so that's what I found. I couldn't get the hydration levels I needed in the wintertime. I would use lighter in the AM and heavier in the PM in the summer. And then in fall, winter, I'd switch to like heavier and heavier, but like I wasn't getting enough. So I was using Anfisa over the top. And then I figured out, well, why the heck can't I just put Acai Oil all over my face? Oh my God, it's a game changer. Okay, Acai Oil all over the face is mwah. It is the most hydrating and anti-aging of all my oils. Unlike the other two that when you put them on, they quickly drop in and you absorb them and you can go on with other stuff. Acai Oil is going to sit on there a little bit. But it's so, it's the most anti-aging because it helps most with the wrinkles. How it replumps up the skin itself is just chef's kiss. Like if you haven't tried Acai Oil over your face and you're normal to dry, at nighttime it's going to be your new best friend. Okay. So the second question was, can I apply before tretinoin? So yes, you can, but here's the things that I've learned about retinoids and the oils. They are not friends in the very beginning. You have to put time in between applying them. If you put the tretinoin on first or any of the retinoids, you want to put it on, let it sit for at least 5 or 10 minutes. Do a lap, do your thing. Even if it's a couple hours later, right before you go to bed, it's fine. But you need to let that retinoid drop in a little bit, because what I have found when you put the oils on too quickly after is you'll end up taking the product and it accidentally gets pulled up too close to your eye area, and then you get a retinoid rash. And those absolutely suck if you've had them. they always go away, but they're irritating and itchy and like they take a little bit of time to go away. So that's my best answer. Like put some space between them. If you're trying to dilute the tretinoin to where it's not so strong when it goes on the skin, yes, go ahead and put the oil on first and put a lipid barrier. This is also works with moisturizer too. And then moisturizer you can go in right away. But if it's an oil, again, same amount of time, let it drop in a little bit and then put the tretinoin off the top. It'll create like a buffer because it's harder for that's why the lipid delivery systems on retinoids are always more gentler than like the non-lipid delivery systems, because the lipid creates a little bit of a buffer for you so it's not so harsh. So it's one of the ways you can like mellow it out. Oil before or after moisturizer. So if you're working with unrefined oils, they need to go on first. You want them closer to the skin so they can drink in. Like you have receptor sites in your skin, so it's all going to get there really anyway. But like even though they are a hydrator, they're also like a serum. They have the hydration lipid aspect that's a larger molecule, and then they have the serum size molecules that are smaller that can drop down into the epidermis and the dermis. So like for me, I would always put an oil on before moisturizer every single time. But if you're just using a simple refined oil, it honestly doesn't matter. If you're working with more of the nutrient dense stuff, I always put the oil on first and then the moisturizer over the top. And again, I don't even use moisturizers anymore. And then the best oil post tretinoin reaction. So my oils would be the heavier face oil because that one is the most anti-inflammatory. The other thing is that there's two ways you can do it. You can keep, like if you're working with the person that put you on tretinoin, they're going to probably tell you to push through it and just deal with it. And you can try that route. You can. I have never been able to get over that hump. I've always found that it gets so miserable. I just end up stopping because I am too afraid I'm actually like creating more damage than good. Because if anybody who's gone through that like push through period of tretinoin or retinoids, I know they tell you it's going to get better, and I'm sure it does get better. But I feel like in the long run, it just makes it so uncomfortable and creates damage in itself that it kind of freaks me out. And I've never been able to push through it. Only about 50% of the population is able to. So my recommendation is you just stop and mellow out, back off. You want to work into retinoids slowly. It makes your skin so much happier by working into it slowly. But if you have a reaction, I would try that. The other one you can try is Tamanu. This one's not Tamanu. Tamanu is also this color. It's the most wound healing of all the oils. The other one also that is really wound healing is blueberry. Again, you're going to get way better benefits if you're working with the unrefined version. How do you know who to trust? Okay, so this has actually been the thing that I've struggled with the most. I can't tell you how many companies have told me that things are unrefined oils, and I'm just like, BS. It took time, but you basically have to learn it through working with the oils and experiencing it. Like I know that certain, like cucumber might come over and smell like nothing, and it might smell slightly like cucumbers. Watermelon can come over smelling like nothing or slightly like maple syrup. It's never actually smelled like watermelon. It just smells like kind of like a caramelized sugar water, basically like maple syrup. Strawberry, for the most part, I found with strawberry, it's not deodorized as much as like the summertime crops have like a ton more scent and are very aromatic. Whereas the wintertime strawberries that are all being grown like in greenhouses and things like that, those ones can hardly have any scent at all, and it's not because the company is deodorizing them. The other thing is that almost all the oils are coming out of country. It's not profitable in the U.S. to price seed oils. The food in itself has more value. So all the oils are coming from overseas. Almost everything comes from India. There's definitely places in Africa, like other places, but I don't work with any nut oils because I don't want to deal with nut allergies. I do not guarantee that these are processed in a nut-free facility. They most likely are not processed in a nut-free facility because they're just pressing seeds, right? They're just pressing stuff. But they are all out of country. So that's the bummer, is there is like, not that the US isn't deceptive, but you know what I mean? Like there's not a way to like drive over to the facility or have a friend go over and tell you. So this is a perfect example. So like this is some aloe vera I got. I really love it. It's an amazing aloe vera. It came from India. I took the label off here to see if it was something else, and then they just stuck the organic sticker over the top because I had ordered organic. But see how it says FDA here? And then it says USDA organic. So No one in India is paying for United States organic certification. What you have to do is you can choose to be an importer and import their oils and bring them over. And then me as that import company, I can pay the FDA and have them individually certified organic. But the company in India is not going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to the US just for their, that's not how it works. Not how it works. When you get stuff imported from other countries and it has the USDA organic seal, it's bogus. They have a whole bunch of their other stuff. Okay. So one of the websites I get from is like, I can get the MSDS sheet. I get I get the chemical testing. Like I get basically the genetic makeup, the paperwork on the seed oils. So what they'll have certification for is halal, organically grown, pure or something like that, which means it's a purity. There's like 0 types of pesticides grown on it, found on it, used on it, all that kind of stuff. So that's what I do is I use all those individual things to be like, okay, this is a natural product. This one, the company won't send it to me on it. Okay. So they won't send me the information on it. They're claiming something there's no way that they can have. And then it has the FDA on it. Like aloe vera gel is not a drug. The FDA would have nothing to do with this. So those are kind of some red flags. The other thing is to get to know the oils. Like I've gotten blueberry seed oil. It almost always is dark purple. But then I've also gotten blueberry seed oil that's like not quite this light green, but not quite this dark, like in between. So you really just have to find reputable places. One of the first unrefined seed oil companies I ever used, and I really liked them, but their stuff is out of stock all the time too with their sourcing, but is Leven Rose, Levenrose. That is one of my favorite companies, and they have a handful of good seed oils. They don't have the majority that I work with, but they definitely have quite a few options. But that's the best thing I can say is trying to find good distributors, start learning the oil, order cucumber from a couple different companies in like the smallest size, and then compare them and see, and then sit with them. Like, does this feel like it's been filtered? Does this, like, you got to play with it, to be honest with you. This person asked, when going through major peeling, what products help slough off? So you want to get things that are going to have, let me come back to that one because that's an oil question. So I'll be right back to that. These were questions from my other life. My bad. Okay. So now I can open up to questions. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Okay, here we go. So yes, these videos are saved. They will be saved to my stories, like always. And then they are starting to be loaded onto YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. Right now there's an icon at the bottom of my website, but there'll soon be a tab, and all the lives are loaded up to YouTube. Can I use just one oil, for example, pumpkin seed oil, without diluting? Absolutely. There's no reason to dilute any of the carrier oils. They're not essential oils. They are carrier oils. Just make sure that, like, you're keeping it, if you receive the oil and it's in a clear container, switch it to a dark container. Keep it in a dark area. Like, protect your oils, but absolutely, there's no reason to dilute. I use all pure carrier oils. I don't dilute them at all with refined oils. I will say this though, when working on the baby oil, these oils are very active, okay? Because they're not refined, they're reactive, which is the other reason why the skincare industry doesn't want to work with unrefined oils, is because they don't want to deal with any reactions, okay? They don't want to deal with any of that. They want to give you a product, it be inert, it not cause them problems. They don't have to give you your money back or do an exchange. They just want to sell product. When working with the baby oil, I did have to find some mellower, like grapeseed, to use in a way like as to cut through it. Like, grapeseed oil is just very, very gentle and simple. There's not just like a lot of actives in it. In general, it's just a very like gentle hydrating oil for babies. So because of the other oils I used in the formulation, for most babies it would be fine. But if you have a sensitive little bug, I could see the oils being too active for them. So I actually diluted it more with this other oil. I'm pretty sure it's grapeseed. Or it could have been meadow foam, solely for the fact that I wanted it to mellow out. I didn't want it to be that active on the little fella's skin. Thank you so much. You have to say such lovely things about me. What is your opinion on the sea buckthorn oil? I love sea buckthorn. It's in the Brilliant CME oil. One of these is sea buckthorn, to be honest with you. One of these is also goji berry. One is carrot, and one is pumpkin. But I love sea buckthorn oil. It's one of the better oils you can use on your skin. If you're using it pure like this, you do want to dilute it into something, only because it's going to turn your face orange. Like this one has started to turn. It's this like, you can barely smell it, but and look, see how it's goopy around the top? So I bet you what I'm smelling is this rancid oil up here. See how it's clumpy? This is how the oil goes bad, okay? This is oxidized. So I want you guys to like become familiar with that stuff and smell that stuff so you can familiarize with what the scent of rancid oil smells like. So I bet if I clean this one up, this oil is going to be totally fine on the inside. Yeah, it's already automatically smelling better because I took that stuff off, what I could. You all are very welcome. Would applying oil before sunscreen interfere with the SPF? No. SPF has everything to do with the amount that you have on. So I'm pretty sure, please don't quote me on this. I really need to look it up. And if somebody knows, for like they know darn good and well that they know the answer, please say so in this string here. But I think it's a half teaspoon. It could be a teaspoon of sunscreen for your face, but I think it's a half teaspoon. And as long as you're keeping that and getting that massaged in, it doesn't matter. I have found though, if you're not working like with my oils, the ones that go in quickly, you're better off taking like 1 or 2 drops and adding it into the SPF, or at least let this oil on your skin like fully drop in before you put an SPF layer on, only because I have found when you do have more oil and schlip on the face, it doesn't want to go in as quickly. So let your underneath oil absorb in more, or put the oil in your SPF before putting it on. The best anti-aging of all my oils is the eye care. So it's really kind of a hard one because eye care really is. It's the most anti-aging and the most hydrating. That caffeic acid and that fig is such a beautiful marriage. And the milk thistle prevents glycation, which is like that really bad sun damage, where it's not just lines going this way, it's them going both ways, where that looks like that leathery look. That is glycation. And milk thistle prevents that from happening. So the eye care oil is amazing. But the thing with heavier oil is heavier oil has the prickly pear in it. And the beauty of prickly pear is your body identifies prickly pear and cactus oils. This is not just a prickly pear thing. This is a cactus seed oil thing. It recognizes it as bioavailable hyaluronic acid. So once I discovered eye care all over the face and it was wintertime, I kind of became an eye care whore. And I had forgotten all about heavier, and I just went all the way in and like was just using eye care. And I did that for 3 to 4 months. And then I just felt like I love what the eye care was doing, but I was just like, I can't identify or tell you why. Just on my inside, I was just like, So I started using heavier again, and I used it only like 3 days, and then was like, oh, holy crap, this bioavailable HA thing is really a thing. So now what I'm doing is I'm combining and using them both at night. Because getting rid of heavier and just having eye care in my oil, there was things about heavier I absolutely love, and there was things about eye care oil that I absolutely love, and they don't really cross over in regards to kind of their functionality in the skin. I've just changed to using Cosmetics Elite Epoxide and then Cosmetics Remedy without moisturizer. Been really, yes, to see this person's talking about they're using a new antioxidant serum by Cosmetics, which is one of my favorites. This epoxide is the best one if you have sun damage or are in the sun more. And Remedy Oil. Remedy Oil has pomegranate seed oil as one of its main oils, and it is more of like a thicker and more of a waxy sensation. So people who are wanting more hydration and more moisture, that oil is a good one as well. Yes, I'll email you, love. So the thing is, she's talking about the Brilliant C&E oil. So I had a batch of Brilliant C&E where after we, like, it was all mixed up, it looked great. And this is the first time this has happened. And then after we bottled it, I grabbed a bottle and I noticed it too. I noticed some of what it is, it's the ferulic acid. It didn't fully dissolve in the bottle. So it's not a bad thing. I just recommend that you shake it up. That's not the product I want to be sending out though. But just know there is nothing wrong with it. You just want to mix it now and then. It doesn't even have to be every day. If you don't mix it, you're going to get more ferulic acid down here than you are up here. But the thing with ferulic acid is your skin can still absorb more. It's not a bad thing. But that's not the product that I ideally want to create. So We are aware of it. Thank you so much for letting me know. And just for everybody else who's experienced that with the Brilliant Seed, if you have a little bit of the white sediment at the bottom, that's a ferulic acid. It didn't stay suspended in the formulation like we wanted it to. Just shake it up a little bit. There is nothing wrong with it. We're not going to be making it like that again. We're going to figure out a control thing where we let it sit for a couple days before we actually bottled it. We bottled it right away. And I did get a new mixer, a new magnet mixer. Which unrefined oil would you recommend to use by itself for general skincare? The heavier face oil. You're so welcome for all the information, everyone. For Brilliant C&E is also longer because it has the ethanol in it. So with that formulation, ferulic acid is only dissolvable in oil up to a certain percentage. So then what I did is I dissolved the rest of it with the ethanol. So one of the things I could do is actually just put all ethanol, all of the ferulic acid in the ethanol, and then I would never ever have that separation issue. But then the problem with that is I got to put more ethanol in the formulation. And not that ethanol is bad. Ethanol is actually a good alcohol for your skin. It's like a humectant. I just don't know if I want to have that much alcohol in an oil. So that's why right now I'm doing it the way that I'm doing. But it should have at least like a 1.5 to 2 years on that one. Keep it in a dark place. Keep it dry. Not dry, but don't let it be hot. The biggest thing is the temperature. Because they are in black bottles, they can be sitting out in your bathroom and you have no issue. It's the heat that you want to keep them away from. What are your thoughts on Rosehip oil? Rosehip Seed Oil is amazing. It's on my shelf. It's in my belly oil, the pregnancy and postpartum belly oil that I'm working on. Or just like anybody's tummy, right? Like everybody could use some. Everybody wants a tighter tum. It's going to be in that formulation. I think it's fantastic. Use it on your skin. As long as the carrier oils are not rancid, they're all good for your skin. And like Rosehip Seed Oil, that's one of those that they typically use unrefined because it's such a pretty oil. And they started using it years ago when the standard was to use unrefined. That's what people expect with an unrefined oil. So as long as your oil has like good scent and you know it's natural and there's like color to it, for the most part, they have color. Some of them don't. Like this is cucumber, watermelon looks like this, milk thistle looks like this, cockadoo plum looks like this. But like cockadoo plum should absolutely have a scent. Is there any skin type that shouldn't use C&E oil? I haven't found any, I'll be honest with you. People who've had acne have used it to clear up their acne. I haven't had any reports of it exacerbating acne. Like as many of you know, vitamin C can be like, if you have acne, it can make it worse. I haven't had any reports of that yet. If somebody has experienced that, please let me know. But I'm finding everybody can use it. Even really oily people are using it as like a vitamin C serum and a hydrator. Like they don't need anything else over the top. The Brilliant C&E is perfect for them in the daytime. So I haven't had any reports of people it didn't work for. You're very welcome, Phil. Felice Massa. You're so welcome. Are any of the oils we should be... So the question is, should they refrigerate them? I do think that you should refrigerate your back stock. If you're not using it, keep it in the fridge. I mean, the travel sizes, that's the thing with the travel sizes though. Like the travel sizes can get gooped up. If you're not using your travel sizes, because there's less product in them, they will go bad faster. The larger volume you have of the oil, the more stable it is than the less. Okay, I think it has something to do with the surface area and oxidization and things like that. I'm not 100% sure. What were we talking about? But yeah, I would keep back stock. And if you can't go through your oil in like 6 to 9 months, I really think you should get the 15 mLs. Don't be buying if you can't use them up. Like I know heavier is a longer shelf life, but you're also taking the chance. Like it definitely is going to last you a year and a half. But like if you put it out in the sun or like you have it in a bag and you're at the beach and it heats up, it could also kill the oil like that. So that's why I think that you should kind of buy more based on the volume that you're using, not on always, well, it's a better deal to get this one. But heavier you should be good for a while. All of them. Lighter is really the one that you have to be the most careful with, I think. And eye care. It would go lighter, eye care, Samson, heavier, and BCE if I actually had to put them in like expiration order. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your time today. And it was a longer live. Oh, well. Light love to you all. Mwah.